Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, this is RosterWatch. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm joined by the Trash Man. I'm joined by Cody Carpentier. And boys, we actually have news coming out of various mandatory mini camps. We have Cody. Today we have the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Giants, the Rams, and the Seahawks that didn't practice last week, but instead have started practices on the 16th and on the 17th. So we have practices going on right now. Brian Daboll just got done talking to the media there in New York. So just a bunch of news and notes from around the league. I think that we can just start out with Daboll. So with him, all the questions are right now regarding Malik Nabers. And so he was asked today if he has concerns about him being ready for training camp because he's been being held out for what they've been calling precautionary reasons for the toe injury that they said dates back to his time at LSU. He said that no, he has no concerns about Malik Nabers. He's going to be ready for training camp. He says it didn't keep him from getting to a Pro Bowl last year. They actually let him play in the Pro Bowl. They're taking it more cautiously with him. Or they let him take part in Pro Bowl activities, whatever those are. I don't even watch the Pro Bowl anymore. What did they do?
Like
okay.
Dodgeball and like obstacles or something, maybe?
So I guess they let him take part in those. But anyway, regardless, they say they're just being careful with him. I did notice that Dr. David Chow, our good friend at Pro Football Doc from Sports Injury Central, said that he's worried about Nabers. He says, I would be concerned. He said, I would, because if you're not on the field in June, you haven't played football in 5+ months. You've only got 2 months before real football is being played. If you're not ready in 5 months, what's 2 more months going to do, right? So he says that he is worried about Malik.
Do you think it's about being not ready, though? Do you think it's about him not being ready to play football, or do you think it's just about the Giants being like, that's a Ferrari, we know what he is, and everything else in that wide receiver room, we can talk about it. Bo Collins, undrafted, is getting opportunities right now with the first team. It's not exactly a dense room, and I think getting a lot of those guys more opportunities is only going to help them. I'm not overthinking this at all. I just think
the thing is, like, as much as I admire Dr. Chow and his work, he generally tends to err on the side of extreme caution and overreaction to things. So I'm taking this with a grain.
Doctors do.
As doctors do. As my own father does, you know?
Yeah, you got a couple.
Which overall is probably a good thing.
Okay, like I'm not worried about Nabers either. I'm looking at taking Nabers as wide receiver 4 right now. I think that after Chase, Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb go off the board, I feel like that's its own tier. But I want to take him over Puka Nacua and over Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, if you look at, I know that on FFPC, St. Brown's going well ahead. But if you just look at Fantasy Pros ECR, if you look at ESPN, if you look at Yahoo, some of these early sites, it looks like Amon-Ra is going to be ahead in season long of Malik Nabers. I don't know whether that has to do with the foot, whether that has to do with these ADPs, as we talked about yesterday, Trash Man kind of being bad and stupid right now. But I'm still comfortable taking Malik Nabers in PPR as wide receiver 4. He was wide receiver 6 last season, and he's only gotten better quarterback play. So I'm hearing from you guys, no real concern about Nabers.
No. And speaking of good quarterback play, like we saw an interview a week ago with Russell Wilson saying, like, one of the reasons he wanted to go to New York was because of Nabers. And he just, like he said, Russ has said that he's watched every single snap that Nabers took last year. And then we've had Jackson Dart, the last couple of days. Dart's had a pretty good showing. I said, and I don't really care about the completions and 8 for 11, this for that, but they said he's looked good in the scripted and the unscripted situations. So kind of expected, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to have worse quarterback play. I think all 3 of these dudes would be better for a Malik Nabers type than Daniel Jones was.
The other news from out of Giants camp, I guess, if you consider it important, is that the the pecking order has been, it seems like it's kind of really become Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, right? It's been Jackson Dart with the twos. Is that what you guys had been expecting to shake out like that? We're talking about we're talking about Jameis Winston and a first round pick.
Well, the thing is, Winston, I think regardless of who the rest of his personnel is, we know what we're getting. I think this is a chance to get Dart familiar with the teammates. Get him closer to playing with the teammates he'll be playing with for the majority of the time when he becomes the starter, hopefully, inevitably. Winston, I don't think we really need to see much on him. I mean, Russell's the starter. Of course, he needs to play with the ones. Winston, we use as needed with Winston. So it's not a big surprise or a shock to me. But I do still think that if Russell Wilson was to go down, that Winston would be the next man up.
Jalen Hyatt today, just something to keep an eye on. He left minicamp yesterday with an apparent leg injury. We haven't gotten an update on that just yet, so we'll keep an eye on it. But it brings up the point, just talking about Jalen Hyatt, talking about Darius.
Are people talking about Jalen Hyatt?
No, I'm just saying I'm just making mention of him.
Are they just talking about a hotel and
it invokes the idea of like Slayton, and I've said Wan'Dale Robinson can be fine maybe in late round PPR stuff. I don't have a problem with Wan'Dale, but basically the reason we're having this discussion about the quarterbacks is just as it relates to Malik Nabers, right? As it relates to the kind of boardwalk on the old Monopoly board, right? That's the one that we care about. And so if I was just under the impression with this whole Jackson Dart thing, I was under the impression that if Brian Daboll gets in the mode where he needs to save his job and Russell Wilson's not getting it done, I'm not sure that he throws Jackson Dart right in right then, because you don't want it to be one of these.
That's what I just said.
But right, so I want Jameis to come in, and I want Jameis to throw the ball 50 times a game to Malik Nabers and throw like 7 picks.
That's what you want if you're Daboll?
No, that's what I want in fantasy.
Well, we're playing fantasy, though. Daboll's playing for his job in your scenario. In your scenario, he's trying to say, all right, now you get to see the kid that we've been working with for the last 4 months. This is the future. There's positivity here.
Yeah, but
give me my job. Let me get my job. People Winston out there.
That's better towards the end of the season, though, Cody. I think it's because if I were Daboll, like let's say that they're 2-5 coming into week 7 or something, and if you go to Dart in week 7, there's a real chance he comes in and maybe looks good for a couple games, but then turns into a pumpkin, and then you're toast, right? Wouldn't I would want him to end the season strong after you've seen these other 2 quarterbacks play.
I mean, that's a Daboll and Mara conversation. For us, I would love to see Winston throw the ball 50 times, even though 35 of those are going to be to scrubs. But I think for Daboll's perspective, you have to go Dart, and then you just have to talk to the ownership and say, this kid's going to be good. Just give me time, and you have to buy yourself time and prove it. But I think, I mean, it's a very rare situation to have 3 guys like this in the same room where, 2 of them are like 10-year vets, and one of them is a first round pick that's projecting, right? So I don't know. I wish there was more talent in that wide receiver room. Like when you hear Bo Collins is like Nabers is down and Hyatt's down, so Bo Collins is getting work. You're like, you mean the undrafted guy? It's like
you're like Bo who? Yeah,
that's where we're at.
It's
like
it's tough.
you didn't go out and I don't know. It's just
so
anything else there. Like
I don't care about any of these other guys besides Malik Nabers. That's just why we're having this conversation.
Oh, so you don't care about Cam Scatterbo?
Oh, I do. I kind of at this. We're not getting much Cam Scatterbo using the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet, which is available right now, being updated to version 1.3 as we speak over at RosterWatch.com. The only tool that you'll need to dominate your fantasy football drafts, the original 3-step cheat sheet over at RosterWatch.com. The PPR version again is up right now. It is for season-long managed leagues. It's not for best ball leagues, and that's what we're beginning to turn our attention to because that is where our bread gets buttered. Okay. One
more question though, because Scatterbo hasn't practiced at all, and that has to mean something for Tyrone Tracy. I know he's dealing with a number of things, injury and off-field stuff, but also that offensive line. Like,
what is the off-field stuff again?
He's getting sued by like a player, I think, on a former teammate, maybe.
Oh, I remember. That's a weird deal. I
Super
remember that.
deal.
Yeah,
but he hasn't done anything since being drafted. He hasn't practiced much at all. And so, I can, like, this whole write-up I'm reading over in The Athletic, like, Control F, Tyrone Tracy doesn't show up. His Tyrone Tracy name doesn't show up once in this whole column, but you get Scadaboo and Hyatt and all these other guys. So Tracy's kind of interesting to me right now. And then the other side of it is this. Listen, from the NFL draft perspective, we've talked about Evan Neal before. He was working at left guard during OTAs. And then there's a report that came out in this Athletic write-up that says he played left guard as a freshman at Alabama. So the offensive line coach right now for the Giants wants to keep some familiarity with him doing that. However, on Tuesday, he played at both guard spots, right and left, right after John Runyon went to left. And then he shifted back to left when Jake Kubas came in and played right. Is the ship sailed on Evan Neal for us?
Not at guard.
He was playing. I mean, did you see that? You saw that video last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago from OTAs when they ran a blitz and he was playing left guard and everybody got through.
Oh,
like, if they're moving him from left guard to right, like, are they moving him everywhere?
It's gonna take a minute for me to get off of just completely. It's gonna take me a minute to just say the ship's completely sailed on Evan Neal.
I mean, it's been 3 years.
I get it. It's just gonna take. It's gonna take me. I'm being honest with you. It's gonna take me like another minute.
Good.
It's gonna take me another minute or two.
So last on the Giants. I know we got to get off of it.
I'm not ready to say it yet, man. I'm like old Doug Peterson. Getting asked about Laviska Shenault.
All right, last one on the Giants is Tracy. Tracy's going off the board right next to Jalen Warren right now, just a little bit after Brian Robinson on most platforms. He's right around pick 100. Is that too rich, given where we're at right now?
For Tracy?
Yeah.
No. I'd rather have Tracy over Warren any day.
Well, I think we would all. I think that
Pacheco.
No. I want Pacheco.
Yeah.
Najee.
I would prefer Tyrone Tracy to Najee Harris, I think.
Yeah.
All right, last one. How about ETN?
I prefer Tracy.
I need to make that. I think right now, dude, that's another thing, Cody. We talked about it before, but since you bring up ETN, he was being interviewed, just talking about how he feels like he's such a scheme fit in this new offense. And we had John Shipley's report we talked about yesterday with saying he looks like the RB1. They're saying he's saying that they're using me in space. He's real happy with how he's being used. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think that guys like ETN and these dudes like ETN, Rachaad White, some of these guys are getting slept on a little bit too much right now, that are going in that same sort of area as we mentioned before with the, like these guys who I don't even want at all, like Ramondre Stevenson. I have a little bit more interest in Javonte Williams than you do, but we're talking about that kind of pocket of players. Rachaad White goes a little bit after that pocket, kind of towards the back of that pocket, more with like the Jordan Masons of the world and stuff. But how are you stacking it up? Like you were saying that yesterday ETN's got no juice, but we're continuing to keep on getting pretty good reports.
I mean, I just think with the backfield situation, I think Tracy's just got a clear path to touch it on a weekly basis in that offense.
Cody, and you're the same way. You're just off on ETN. You don't care about the report.
I'm not off on ETN. I'm just saying.
I'm asking Cody.
If he feels like he's a scheme fit, then the door opens up for the Bucky rule. But man, I'm gonna have to go down and see it. Like it's one of those situations. Like I just got to see it to believe it. If I go down to Jacksonville camp in next month or 2 months from now, and it's like clear as day, I'll believe it. and I don't think that'll be too late in the process to pivot onto him. But I think that there's just a lot to, I can't believe you'd pick up that whole playbook in a month and a half since Liam Cohen got there. I can't believe that the answer would just be on June 18th. Etienne's the guy over Tootin, over Tank, over all these guys. I just think that it's gonna be a while before there's a clear definitive. Even though Etienne says I'm a fit, and John Shipley says he looks like he's the RB1. Like, that's just not enough for me.
All right. Here's a question as to whether they're the RB1 or not. So Chad Graff in The Athletic, he says it's still unknown whether Trayveon Henderson can be a true bell cow back or whether he's just a third down back. But he did say Henderson has been by far the most explosive Patriots offensive player in offseason practices. And he said his development as a runner between the tackles will go a long way toward determining his future success. I mean, to me, whenever I hear somebody say that he's been by far the most explosive player on offense, it's like, well, of course. I mean, and it's Trayveon Henderson. Of course, he's going to play, and of course, he's going to be good.
I mean, no doy. It's like the practice has just started. I mean, what does he expect to happen? What do you expect this kid to do in that amount of time? I mean, the question is still there because we haven't had enough evidence. We haven't had a large enough sample size, but. The hypothesis is that this guy will be the starter, and it looks, and it's a pretty strong showing thus far.
No offense to Chad Graff, but I mean, I don't think a lot of people expected Trayvon Henderson to come in there and be Adrian Peterson, be a 3-down back.
Well, yes, that's the thing. I was reading it. I'm like, well, I mean, did you watch Trey Henderson in college? I guess he didn't.
He can't be a 3-down back though.
But that's not what
he could be. But it's like that's not what you expect him to come in and be like. All right, day one, he's going to be like Ashton Genty or something out. He's just a different kind of player.
Yeah, Austin Eckler didn't need to be. He could. He did it. It wore him down. Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't need to be. He's got David Montgomery. He could do it. He did it in a few games. Yeah. Trayvon Henderson can do it, but they don't need him to do that. Like, sure, maybe if an injury happens,
and we don't need him to do it for us in fantasy. Give him 6 targets. Like, dude, if you locked in 15 opportunities per game, 6 targets, 9
printing
rushes,
money.
Something like that, I'm fine.
Printing money. But literally, look what happened though to Eckler, to McCaffrey. These guys, when they get the overworkload, like they don't need it. Those guys don't need it. Eckler never needed it. He got it. And it ended up, wearing down on his body the latter years in Los Angeles. But it's like these guys with that, modest workload, like Jahmyr Gibbs showed us last year, they can eat for us in fantasy. And I don't mean Chad Graff. I mean, all respect to Chad and his reporting and stuff, but that's just not. It's not why I would have drafted Trayveon into the NFL if I was drafting him.
If you're thinking about drafting Kyren Williams, then you have some. Big update here from Sean McVay. The same update that we get from another Rams are practicing right now. The same update as ever. The team has made progress on a contract extension for Kyren Williams. The same way they've been doing, the same steady, slow and steady turtle wins the race progress they've been making since January. You guys have any thought? They're not going to withstand Kyren, are they?
No. The comments underneath the Stu Jackson, I saw reported this. He wrote this too. I'm not sure who's you're reading, but this one in particular has like a couple responses to it. And it's like, I think Coleman Hunter will be fine. They better not extend him. Slim chance.
These are fans.
They better not bring him back.
Okay.
It's like all negativity. And they're telling us, they're not lying to us. They like you always say at the draft, they can't lie to you during the draft. They didn't. And they've told us what now? 4 times? We're working on it. We're making progress. We're working on it. We're making progress.
It's been more than 4. If you count both McVay and Les Snead, it's been a lot.
Yeah. Especially. So since the combine, it's probably been. You're right.
And Les Snead at the Senior Bowl. I mean,
over half.
It's like honestly though, the Rams don't have that many weapons outside of Puka Nacua.
I mean, they got Devontae Adams and they drafted Terrence Ferguson, who they like, and they still got Higbee.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but it's still. I think Williams is still the linchpin of that offense, and he has been successful in that role. I think there's a possibility that they work it out.
It could be a run. I don't know if they're going to work it out, but I don't know if it hurts him for fantasy this year. It could be like we talked about with Kamara. It could be a run the wheels off season,
which is fine.
Like ETN, it could be a run the wheels off season. Like we have to keep that within the realm of possibility. All right, Cody, going to your Minnesota Vikings. I know they're not practicing right now, but a trial date was set for Jordan Addison's 2024 DUI. It's going to be July 15th. That's
perfect
per Kevin Seifert of ESPN. He could end up missing time. Are we going to have to bake in, or are we going to have to project him to miss 3-4 games here?
Do we know how many? Is this his first offense?
Well, there was the other time whenever he was speeding super fast, but I believe, Cody, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. He got a lot of public sympathy on that because I think he was taking his dog to the vet.
Yeah, so I was just having a small brain thought here because I was trying to remember if this was connected or not. But this one was from him falling asleep at LAX last year, drunk. So
allegedly,
according to CBS. I would venture to bet he probably gets, I don't know. Does he get 4?
Doesn't it seem like it's 3?
That seems 4 seems unlikely to me.
I was going to say 2, but 3, 2, 3, 4, something like this. Whatever it is, as soon as it hits, it's going to obviously expose a little bit of value in fantasy.
I wouldn't be taking him right now.
Not right now, no. I think you wait till this thing happens.
I would wait till afterwards, and then I think you might be able to get him in what has become a zone where, it's actually been kind of becoming a zone where I'm interested in taking, like where Travis Kelce's falling right now, or maybe taking a shot at a Bo Nix. You can get. I mean, what do you? Are you guys interested in some kind of Jordan Addison, say? Oh, I don't know. Say, or 8, mid 8th round.
That seems low.
That seems that seems like a value, right?
That would be a value for sure.
Even if he was missing 2 or 3 games, you would be fine.
Yeah, like what he last season, average 10 fantasy points a game. More than Ladd McConkey, more than Cortland Sutton. Just
and the thing is, dude, like as far like he's actually one of these guys that's, as far as the busts and monsters tool, he goes for a monster game of 25 PPR points, 11.74% of the time over the course of the last 2 years, and he busts under 30% of the time, which is better than that's better than Mike Evans and Cooper Kupp and Waddle and Nico Collins and Zay Flowers, and so he's been good.
He's sort of rare too in the aspect of like if Jefferson ever misses time, he fills in.
You
not
can't
1 for 1, but sort of 1 for 1.
Like people are so dumb with the way that they think that you can do wide receivers the same way that you do running back handcuffs. It's
Addison's a rare one that you can.
It's not how it works, but it's like Jamar Chase, T Higgins is another one of those, right? The one goes out, you can tee up the other one big time.
Speaking of running back handcuffs, I wanted to ask you one question before we got out of here about a running back handcuff.
All right.
The Bengals had a quote. Dan Horde reported. Dan Horde is from the Bearcat Voice radio, the Cincinnati Bengals. Got a quote from the Bengals, Zach Taylor, saying about Taj Brooks. For him to be there in the 6th round when we got him, we're really lucky that he fell to us at that point. And the other part of this post was saying it's crazy how 18 running backs were taken ahead of Taj Brooks. There's videos of Taj Brooks catching passes in the flat, moving fluid. That running back situation in Cincinnati obviously is just Chase Brown, and I've kind of referenced it as more of like a poor man's Rams backfield. But where Taj Brooks is going off the board right now, it's like the complete end of these drafts, like almost 200th overall. Could you make a case that he might be worth more to us than the Kareem Hunts of the world, Algiers of the world, Ray Davises of the world?
I think he falls right in line with those guys. And I think that if it's, I think that you should probably like Taj Brooks more than you like
he might split this backfield.
Yeah, man, like more than you like some of these guys that are handcuffs, like Marshawn Lloyd, Blake Corum.
But those guys don't necessarily have another back. I mean, Zach Moss could. I
think Zach Moss is going to retire.
Zach Moss is done playing football, trash man. He's not going to play. I mean, don't you remember all the eulogies that they were giving him last year? They don't do that whenever it's a neck, and it's like they're just like, "Oh gosh, this is so scary." We're just praying for his health. We're just hoping the best for him in his personal life. He's not going to play. So I'm not worried about that. And here's the thing too, Taj. Here's the main thing. Even if Zach Moss played, Taj Brooks is better. And I would suggest to anybody, go watch Taj Brooks's film from Texas Tech. Go watch the volume that he was able to take on. Go see what a prolific runner that he was able to be, and just tell me, just say you can't close your eyes and see a world where he's going to split all the work with Chase Brown.
Who's a better 2-down back, Chase Brown or Taj Brooks?
2-down back?
Yeah,
Taj Brooks.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.